this same Jesus. And if you do know him, trust him like never before. Even in an hour like this, when it seems like the hurts won't go away, you've got to trust that same Jesus she believed in. Put your heart into him, because he is your peace. Because that same Jesus said, let not your heart be troubled. But he said, ye believe in me, believe also in God. But mother's life, and I promise you I won't hold you long today, but mother's life, how she lived and the work she did, says that she knew Jesus. You can't live like that. You can't walk like that, talk like that, unless you know Jesus. You got to know somebody. Not just anybody, but you got to know somebody who's able. You got to know somebody who will go all the way with you. You got to know somebody who will come where you are and pick you up at your lowest. You got to know the same Jesus as you do. Jesus said in John 14 verse 12, if you believe on me, you will not only do the works that I do, but greater works than these. And mother believed that because her works speak for her. She's done some great works. All of us can speak about mother's work in our lives. How her life touched our life. Yes, she was a faithful servant of God. She was a pillar of strength, not only to Greater Morris, but to the community. Everywhere she went in Cordele, people loved Mother Shazier. Not only in Cordele, but even in the surrounding communities. They loved Mother Shazier. She was a faithful servant of the Lord. One who served the Lord and served church well. Yes, she was faithful. Deaconess, Sunday school, mission department, mother board. Mother was a faithful, always in prayer meeting. And sometimes I remember one night she walked in Bible study. She said, Pastor, I'm going to teach tonight. He said, Brother Dennis said she had a takeover spirit. And she said, Mother, she said, Pastor, I'm going to teach tonight. And she taught. Can I get a witness? Anybody knew Mother knows she knew the word. When she would always be willing to give some remarks about what the lesson was about. She said, Pastor, this is the way that I see it. And she would be on it, on what the word has said. Mother knew the word. She knew it because she lived by it. Oh yeah, she was a faithful servant. One who served and her testimony. One who knows her can give the testimony to say, yes, she was faithful. She was loyal and she was caring. Yeah, mother was a woman of God who was full of wisdom. And as I said earlier, she didn't mind telling you. Mother was an inspiration. She was an inspiration to a lot of people. She was loved. She was loved by many. And it didn't matter the age, from the youngest one to the oldest one in the church. Mother touched their lives. And she knew how to deal with you. She knew how to connect with you. Mother, she was playful because she knew that's how to deal with our children. She could be playful and yet serious at the same time. And you knew that when Mother spoke, it meant something for you in your life. She meant a lot to a lot of people. And when I thought about that, I thought about what Jesus said in John 1, verse number 12. Jesus said, he that believeth on me, he that believeth on me, he has power, will have power to be the sons of God. And what Jesus was saying, he that believeth on me, the Father will give him power to be saved. And so those who believed on Jesus not only believed him for salvation, but they believed him for the many needs of their life, because somebody needed him not only as a savior, but they needed him as a friend. Somebody needed him as a lawyer. Somebody needed him as a doctor. Somebody needed him as a bridge over troubled water. They knew him in many ways. And so it is with us here today. Mother touched our lives in many, many ways. Yeah. You could walk by her, and when you walk by mother, you better not walk by her and don't speak to her. Mother tell you, don't you see me? You're not going to speak to me? Yeah, you couldn't walk by mother and not speak. And then when you speak to her, you couldn't look off. But she'll tell you, look at my eyes. Look at my eyes. That's how mother was. Yeah, she had a way to connect with people. She knew how to exhibit that godly character that the Lord had put in her to be a light to the world around her. But as I hasten on to close with you, mother had an inner strength that she didn't give in to fear, because of that inner strength that mother had, because she knew that same Jesus. She had an inner strength. She didn't give in to, I said, fear of staying alone. She didn't fear staying alone. Mother lived with others in these last days because they told her she couldn't live by herself. But mother was not afraid of standing alone because she knew that same Jesus. Mother had an inner strength about her because even the sickness that she carried these last few years, it didn't bother her. Mother had an inner strength that could help her deal with whatever she was dealing with in her life. Yeah. And as it's been said here this morning, mother had that inner strength, but she leaned and depended on the Lord. And even when she was traveling, as Deacon Parker said, you couldn't pull off in a van or a vehicle without quoting the 23rd Psalm, because she knew that shepherd that David talked about. She knew it was that same Jesus that was going to carry her on her journey. She trusted that same Jesus. No, she wasn't afraid, because she knew he was with her. She knew that she had somebody working on her behalf. And she knew that she had somebody seated with the Father up in glory, sitting on the right hand of the Father. And she knew it was that same Jesus. Here, when we look at this text here today, he's the one that these two angels spoke about when they spoke to the men by the wayside. He said, the one that you're gazing at, the one that you're gazing at, that same Jesus, he's coming back again. Mother knew he was coming back. Because you remember the words, all the words of David, the words of John. When he said, if I go away and prepare a place for you, I'll come again and receive you unto myself. So mother was looking for that same Jesus. Mother knew the words of Jesus because she remembered him saying, come unto me and I will give you rest. Can I get a witness? And mother was looking for that same Jesus to give her rest. Not only that, but she heard him say, if I go away, I'll come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. And mother was looking for the same Jesus. Mother lives with an eye toward glory because she was looking for that same Jesus. Oh, just a few weeks ago, Sister William and I went by to see Mother. Mother said, I'm tired now. She said, I've been to Alabama. I've been back to Georgia. Had to stay in Atlanta. And now I'm back to Cordelia. And they tell me I'm going back to Alabama. But she says, I'm tired. I'm ready to go home. Not the home over on 4th Avenue, but that home where that same Jesus lived. Can I get a witness? Because she knew that that same Jesus was coming back one day. Can I get a witness? She knew that his eye was on her. Can I get a witness? Jesus, that same Jesus that healed blind eyes, that same Jesus that healed lame limbs, that same Jesus that fed a multitude, that same Jesus that stepped out on a shore one day and set a man free that lived in the cemetery. That same Jesus stepped on shore on Dowry Street just a few days ago. That same Jesus that she'd been looking for. That same Jesus that she talked about. That same Jesus that she prayed to. That same Jesus that she had been waiting on. Say, well done, thou good and faithful servant. You fought a good fight. Come on home. Come on home and rest a little while. Mother went. No, she just didn't die. She just didn't die.